G'day again, mate. What was your name?
My name's Nick Rado, professional comedian.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Crowdworkcast. My name's Andrew Barnett. Thanks so much for joining me. Great episode for you this week. I catch up with my old mate Nick Rado, comedian, podcaster, radio personality, content creator, and all-round good bloke. This is a great chat. Nick has a brand new comedy special out. It's on his YouTube channel, Nick Rado Comedy on YouTube. Go check it out. It's called Live from Jeff's Garage. He's also got a second comedy hour out there, and he's promised to put out great content all this year. So please give Nick a follow, subscribe to his YouTube channel, go follow him on Instagram. He's always got good content on there too. He is Nick Rado Comedian on that. So Nick Rado Comedian pretty much wherever you can find him, except Twitter or /X, which is just Nick Rado. If you're enjoying the show, please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Give me a follow, Andrew Barnett Comedy on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Andrew Barnett Comedy. Other than that, enough faffing around. Happy New Year. Hope you enjoyed this episode. This is me chatting with my good mate, Nick Rado. Where are you talking to me from, Nick?
I'm currently in a place called Hatfields Beach in New Zealand. Beautiful day today, and currently, just chilling and relaxing. Half the family have come down with a sickness, and so it's a beautiful day. But we are otherwise indoors.
What's the sickness they've come down with? Do we know? Is it COVID?
Oh, it probably is. But if you test for it, that means that you've got to stand down for 5 days.
Yeah, you've got responsibilities at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we're not. We've tested for COVID. It's not that. So we just sort of just I don't know, eking it out really. So yeah, the boys in the household are struggling. The girls are powering through.
Oh, nice. So have you been crook?
Oh, just when you're like 70%, and then
Yeah.
it's one of those niggly ones where you can't get any sympathy or stay in bed, but you still have to do the lawns.
How do you even tell when you like that you're sick between Christmas and New Year and this first bit of January? Like the amount of times you're having drinks at night anyway. Like I feel like I haven't been more than about 75% since mid-December.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's it, isn't it? It's like and also as well, like over this period, there's a lot of interaction with kids and children and stuff, and they get away with a lot when they just say that they're tired, or the parents just say that they're tired. But when
Yes.
do you not have that card to play as an adult? Like, I feel like it would be nice to see a press conference where, like, a premier comes up from a state and just says, "Listen," and they go, "Why did you embezzle all that money in your own business?" And you go, "Well, to be honest, to be fair to me, I was a bit tired."
Yeah. Look, I was out of routine.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of late nights, early mornings. I wasn't getting my afternoon nap. Very tired. You know what I'm like when I'm hungry.
yeah, exactly. And it's just kind of like, how do we get that back in terms of? I feel like it's a valid adult excuse, and people should accept it rather than they go, "Oh, you can't be on the news and go, look, I was tired."
Yeah, you should be able to,
You
for
should be,
sure.
yeah, but the country should be able to go, I understand it, I get it, and then and the punishment should be just go to bed, a routine, and go to bed early
Yeah.
for a couple of weeks.
You know what? Eat your vegetables. Go to bed early.
Yeah,
Make sure you're do your homework.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, yeah, exactly. And then so
And reduce your screen time. That's the other thing.
that's it.
No bluey,
Yeah,
until until you're behaving yourself. That's it. You
yeah,
know the rules.
That's it. That's it. So yeah, there should be that kind of rule. But yeah, no, totally. It's a weird time. No one really knows what day it is, and but no one's really 100%. People are starting to go back to work now. There's yeah, there's. I'd love to know how many people are going back to work ready to go, or going back to work going, this is the year I quit my job. So
How was the Christmas New Year period for you? What did you get up to? What are the New Year's resolutions? You know, New Year, new Nick,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, yeah.
um, or is it just same old Nick?
Uh, I think it's a little bit. I think you're right. Like I think it's we had my mum up for Christmas, which was always like it's always pressure to host. But it was very interesting. It gets to the point. This it gets to some point in your adult life where things sort of you kind of the facade of the mum and the dad sort of drop in terms of like A, they know everything, B, they're an expert at this, C, um, I thought I was the annoying one at Christmas or whatever. But it's yeah, it was a testing time. It was an interesting time because obviously, she's used to hosting
Mm.
and we're hosting, and so she driven all the way up to see the grandkids open the presents on Christmas Day, but was just constantly hovering around the kitchen going, can I help, can I do anything? And we're just like, no, no, just sit down, enjoy the kids. And then yeah, they just can't. I think they call them active resters, but I think with my mum it's an active. I feel like the only reason why she's still going at the ripe old age of 74, I feel like if stress wasn't in her life she would just keel over.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It was funny. We were up at my parents for Christmas, and my parents have this thing where mum's like, I just want your dad to be able to sit down and enjoy things because he's always getting up trying to clean up straight after
Yeah,
dinner or whatever. Like he's always got a job to do, right? Dad's a bit like that. But then whenever mum would go to start doing stuff, dad'd be like, no, your mum needs to just sit. Like it's almost like this competition between them. I want the other one to rest.
yeah,
And it's like, and they're both stressing out about how much the other one's doing. But the only reason the other one's doing so much is they don't want that one to like, it's almost like competitive. No, you rest.
exactly.
It's, it was so funny to watch, like, because this is the first year we all sort of, my brothers and sisters, we all sort of cottoned on to and
Yeah.
so just trying to no, you both go sit down. We'll take care of this.
Yes, it's constantly yeah, the constant yeah of them trying to sit down, and then I think because afterwards there's always this constant chat of so and so's husband or so and so's wife or so and so's partner. All they do was sit on there, sit all day, like all day, like
Yeah.
they just sat there the whole day. They didn't even offer to help. And I feel like that's the ultimate, like that is the ultimate sin of our parents' generation, is
Yes.
sitting down and not offering to help. I feel like you could have been like conducting experiments for Coca Cola to say why you should be giving your kids more Coca Cola throughout the year, or encouraging them to smoke at the age of 7 throughout the year in your work wise. But the the picture of your character would always leave our parents' generation of always a positive note if they offered to help and they didn't sit down the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh no, look, he worked for Big Tobacco. He found out a way to get kids addicted real early. But oh my God, he would not let anyone else do the dishes. He
Yeah,
was so good.
yeah. Even yeah, exactly. Even and it's always as well like we had the great grandmother's china set out, which
Ooh.
we've been gifted as like it's a huge honor in the family. But I just think, is it an honor or is it a burden? I just feel like, there's nothing that can be that good that can come from this. When you use it, there's everyone's on eggshells with using it, and when you don't use it, they're like, wow. Why I would have given it to your brother if you weren't going to use it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be used.
Yeah,
We've got a couple of those. Like my parents have got one Royal Dalton set that has gold leafing on the just gold leafing paint on the outside. Like it's very that generations. Well, it's even the generations before them's fancy thing. But because of that, it can't go in the dishwasher.
yes,
So to use it's actually a massive. And then they've got like proper silverware
yeah,
stuff. So to get the good stuff out is actually creating like an hour and a half small work at the end of the
totally.
night.
Yeah,
That's just like, and no one goes, geez, that meal tasted good
no,
because it came off the fancy plate or it came like, especially when you got kids at the table, they don't care.
yeah. But also as well, like it's not like yes, they look amazing, the things that they made, but I mean, come on, like how good were they made if they're not dishwasher proof? And there's also
Exactly.
an element of like, if it's gonna come off in the dishwasher, is it gonna come off on my knife and fork? Like, is there,
Mm.
what are we talking here? So yeah, there's never, and yeah, it is, it's just extra, it's just extra dish because it can't go in the dishwasher, and you always use that big extra pan that doesn't fit anywhere.
Yep.
Ruins someone would put that in first, and oh, you should have done the glasses first, and you know and then oh, when I say someone, it's my mum over my shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, someone has a name.
Yeah. And I'm like, just sit down. I can't sit down because these dishes won't get managed properly. Not managed. Yeah,
Oh man. So a good fun Christmas though.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Boxing Day is always the best day because you've got everything's done, and even the
Yep.
fact that like you know even the fact that there are sales on and it's cheaper, and if you are willing and if you have enough effort in your bones to go do it, a lot of shops now offer, if you see this at a different price, you can actually go down and get the Boxing Day sale price if you paid more. So
Oh.
I look forward to on Boxing Day.
See, so that's a good question. What is Boxing Day like in New Zealand? Because here there's a lot of it's a barbecue catch up, watching or eating leftovers with the family or something like that. But always the Boxing Day test is on somewhere in the house. Like when I was a kid, my mum's got quite a big family. She's one of 8 kids, and so Boxing Day was their family Christmas get together. So everyone would spend Christmas Day with their own individual families, and then they'd all get together on Boxing Day,
Mm.
and it was this big extended family thing. But there was always the uncles nearby the TV watching the Boxing Day test. You'd see the start of the Sydney to Hobart boat race that'd always go on. But so the sales thing was never something our family did. But like I don't. So what in a country where you don't have a Boxing Day test? What meaning does the day have?
Well, it is true. Well, what happens is we just watch your guys one.
Oh, so
We root for whoever is playing Australia. So Pakistan was a big, we had to dig out the Pakistan. We just rotate the flags basically.
yeah,
And because remember when you guys used to do that Tri Nations like 1 day series over the
yeah, World Series Cup.
World Series Cup, and whenever you used to play us, you wouldn't even invite any other teams. You just have Australia A. You would
Yeah,
respect us so much, and also disrespect us so much that Australia A would often make the final.
we, we were pretty good back in those days, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And sometimes Australia A would win, like would beat you with your
Oh yeah,
Australia team.
Australia A were pretty good. There was, I think the peak was remember when the World Test is like maybe early 2000s. They had a series against the World Test 11 against Australia.
Yeah.
So all the countries combined just to play against Australia in this weird little like one-off series.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, that's it. Right.
yeah, it's Australia versus the world.
Yeah. You guys created your own American World Series with that.
Mm.
It was great. But
I think,
and with regards to the Boxing Day, yeah, it's pretty much just like a whole bunch of families just saying anyway to their um, to the people that are leaving that day for to their family members. So I think I know what you know what I mean by that. Like when you want to get rid of somebody or end the conversation or start tidying up, you just say the word anyway.
yeah. And just look at the dishes or something you've got to do. Anyway, you look at your watch.
Yeah,
The kids have, yeah. So we should probably
you should. Yeah,
push on here.
yeah, exactly. So it's if you say anyway and get out the vacuum cleaner, there's uh,
Yeah,
quite a clear statement, I think.
yeah.
But yeah, I think Boxing Day 27th. That weird moment, the 27th, 28th, where the country starts really investing in how many people die on the roads.
That was I was having a discussion with someone over Christmas around this because it's here, it's dying on the roads and it's car accidents and drownings.
Yes.
That seems to be our holiday news stories. And I was talking to someone about it over Christmas. They're like, why are there always so many at this time of year? And I think it's a combination of one, there's just more people on the roads and going for a swim because it's summer.
Yeah.
But also, I think there's not the usual, like the politicians aren't doing anything. That like there's not the usual news stuff that
Distraction.
would carry on. So like for the news, they're like, what's happened today? Couple of car crashes and a few drownings. Like it's almost like getting promoted up the news algorithm because that's the only thing that's going on.
Why?
Because you're not gonna report on, oh yeah, the prime minister had a nice lunch at the lodge.
Yes. Yes. Well, you can't like. Why can't we turn it into a positive thing though? Like, why can't you? Because the only reason why it's so high is because you're counting it. So
Yeah,
if you didn't actually count it, you wouldn't really notice that much. But why can't you count other things that go on in and around that time? Like, how many times you can get, a family has gotten a basketball shot off the balcony.
yeah, yes. Classic catches. Here's a list of classic catches into the pool of kids
If
diving
they
for the tennis ball.
if we could send into the newsroom, even if I don't even care if it's at the end of the day, just like
Mm.
here are the classic catches around Australia from the pool or otherwise. We've got seven in. People go, oh, there's a lot more classic catches coming around these days, isn't there?
That mate, that'd be. You know what? That's a TV. We should pitch that as an idea for just that's a half-hour show every year.
Yeah,
Like, or maybe just even this is like a limited series for the end of the year over that non-ratings period.
yeah,
We'll give you 12 episodes. One's classic catches. Two is barbecue fails.
yeah,
Like all those good things that are going, the fun stuff that's going on.
yeah.
Basically, it's basically what you're looking for on Instagram anyway. When over that
Well,
period,
yeah, pretty much. Like quickest Christmas present breakage is always.
yes.
I remember
Um,
one with my son, who got my uncle gave him a drone for his for Christmas, and he was 5 years old.
yes,
Don't give a drone to a 5 year old because they have
that's classic uncle behavior.
totally like yeah. This will be good, and he had no like sort of control over the drone, and just went full noise with the remote, and went straight into the neighbor's tree, and then kept rather than stopping, thinking, "Oh, that's stopping," thinking this is part of it, and just like kept going until the blade sort of broke and it went into smithereens. So that was $50 well spent.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good like dollar to second ratio.
Yeah,
That's an expensive present in terms of enjoyment.
yeah, it's almost as good as the when you get a lotto ticket for your birthday or a scratchy.
Yeah. Right, But the difference is literally you've spent $50 to make a 5-year-old cry
Yeah,
in record time.
yeah, yeah. But to go from the roller coaster of high, I've always,
Mm.
even though you didn't even know what it was, but when you opened it, um, to this is all I ever wanted, to this is the worst Christmas, and still probably I think he still remembers the Christmas. Actually, I go, all I have to say is, "Do you remember?" And he just goes to a dark place.
Dog going off there, not happy.
Yeah, not happy. We live now on an elevated section, so he is. There's danger everywhere from inside of our fence, all constantly. So he's just warning us that there's somebody, not even walking, but like just checking their mail.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
good to know.
It's an alarming amount of home invasions happen when the neighbours turn after checking their mail.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, totally. So no, yeah, yeah, he's loving it. We're like, it's I think it's the dog who cried wolf. Is there a thing that says that? So now in the night we're just like, oh, it's just so and so. It's just the neighbor getting our TV from the living room.
Our I had an uncle. Whose dog used to, every time there was a helicopter or a plane, would run in the yard and just bark at the helicopter and the plane. Like it was just, he'd just like you'd be inside and he'd just be bolt outside and just start barking at the sky. And I said to my uncle, I thought, isn't that like, isn't that annoying? He goes, it's all right. He goes, and on the plus side, I've never had a helicopter or a plane land in the backyard. So
True. Also, I like the idea that the dog would come back into the living room with a bit more puffed up chest, saying,
yeah, I showed them.
"Yeah, you're lucky I'm here, mate. Otherwise, you'd be
Yeah.
it's like Heathrow Airport if you." Well,
Yeah, that whole backyard would be tarmac, mate. There'd be air traffic control everywhere.
yeah.
I'm on the job here, mate. That's So Christmas, New Year, like, what was New Year like? So we talked Christmas. How was the New Year period for
So
you guys, mate?
yeah, so I'm a clean comedian, so I get to do amazing things, which is like corporates and get a lot of cruise ship uh, offers, and
Oh, nice.
was offered to me that which was little bit too good to turn down. So it was I went to Melbourne on the 30th, and then we dumped the kids with the grandparents, and then me and my wife went to Melbourne on the 30th, and then cruised back to New Zealand, and I just had to do two shows, and yeah, it was great. It was really it was the first time we'd stayed up past midnight in about 7 years since we've had kids.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the time zone would have helped.
Yeah, oh, totally, absolutely,
Hey, this is only 10 o'clock at home. We're up after midnight here.
exactly. So yeah, no, it was a fun New Year's, actually, a real fun, like, fun break, and then yeah, it was pretty good. But I actually but before that, on the 22nd of December, I'm not too sure if this was the wisest move or not, but I released a comedy special. Yeah,
Yes, live from Jeff's garage.
that's exactly right, live from Jeff's garage. It was yeah, it was basically, so as my second album. So the deal that or what I do is, which is very different. I don't think any other New Zealand comic does it. I'm not sure about Australian comics, but so every couple of years, I've got a deal with a company called Comedy Dynamics, and
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, how good the deal is, I'm not too sure, but it is a deal. And I provide them with an hour of my stand-up comedy, and then they own it, and then I get YouTube notifications saying that my stand-up comedy special is breaching copyright because comedy. So
Oh, yes. Your channel gets dinged.
yeah, it's like, sorry, mate, you can't monetize this video because this is clearly somebody else's stuff that you're doing, and I'm like, well, it's my stuff, and
Mm.
yeah, but so this will, yeah, so basically how it works is, um, they they pay for the album, and then they help me put it across America. So basically, Sirius XM is like a big DAB digital radio station over in America, and it's in cars across the nation. And they have seven, I think, comedy channels, and one of them is they've got um, two of them are like clean comedy channels, and so you've got like 80% of the comics going for all the other channels, and then you have 20% of the comics going for the clean stuff. Or what will happen is, like, on an album, somebody will be like, I've got two bits that are clean, so they'll sort of push it towards there, and they basically treat it like a radio station. So they'll have, like, 24-hour content, and they'll just play tracks like songs. And if your track or your bit gets on high rotation, then you get royalties for it. So every month I get a check in the mail, or a digital email saying, hey, there's this company called Sound Exchange, have paid some money into your account. And so my first album, I got two tracks on rotation, and then the second album, I'm not too sure. I'll find out in a month's time of how many gets in the rotation. But that's why I do it with them, because it's like it's an in with them.
Yeah.
But both of my I've put up both my comedy specials now, and they're both going, like, I don't really spend much time on YouTube,
Yep.
in terms of posting, but I started off with only like maybe like 70 subscribers and that kind of thing, and then since I've posted my two specials up, I posted one on like the 8th or 9th of December, and then another one on the 22nd of December. And the first one's now up to about 14,000, which is pretty good, because I normally get about 17 views a year. And then my Live at Jeff's Garage one's up to about 22,000 now, and my subscribers has gone up to about 640 odd subscribers. And to be able to monetize on YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers and over, I think it's 3,000 watch hours in the last year, or 28 days. I can't remember what it was. And but now, yeah, people are watching it, and loving it, really,
Mm.
which is great. But I'm getting absolutely no love from New Zealand or Australia. Uh, it's like, I think I looked at my analytics the other day. 57% of the viewer of the 30 or 40 odd thousand people that have watched my specials, about 57, 60% of them are from America. Uh, Canada's another one, Sweden, UK, and I think it's like 1.3% in New Zealand and 5% in Australia. So it's good to know that, the hometown boy. I sent
Yeah.
I sent out a whole bunch of press release saying, hey, this comedy special that's filmed in a garage in New Zealand is now like going gangbusters in America, and I didn't get a single reply from media outlet. The only one that came back to me was the Rodney Times, which is like the local area here, and they said, "Great, we'll get back to you if we need anything." And then no one
And you work on radio there. So
as well. So it's like, what are you trying to say here? So
did you be honest? Did you get the press release in your work inbox and go, what's this bullshit? I'm not gonna
yeah, yeah,
who's this guy?
yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, no, it's all organic. I guess that's the word you say now. Uh,
Yeah. Organic reach, mate. What's the reach of it?
But it's going good. Really proud of it. And it's when I did my first one, it was like the greatest hits of 17 years of comedy, and I was just like, how am I ever going to beat that? And then apparently, all you just need to do is get rid of your old jokes, and give yourself a year and a half to write the new one, and apparently it's heaps better.
It's funny how, like, I don't know about you, but always, like, there's a part of me that worries I'm never going to write anything good again. And realistically, like, those jokes you wrote over those 17 years, you've slowly becoming, well, not even slowly, but you're becoming, that whole time, you're becoming a better comedian. So why wouldn't it make sense that now you can write better stuff?
Yeah, totally. And that's what I feel at the minute. I'm never going to be able to write anything else again, because I've got no jokes again. But yeah, I think you just basically, you start from such a stronger point, and you the mistakes that you would make early in the early doors. And also a lot of the times as well, because you know it works, you're kind of beholden to it and you're precious. It's a bit precious, and so you don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So this is the good thing of like, okay, I've got these things. Like, so it was really good actually to release those specials, because then when I did the cruise ship, I think my last gig was on this. I think I had corporate on the 8th of December, and then I didn't have another gig until the 30th of Jan, I think. No, 30th of December. And so it was a long time between gigs, and
Mm.
you just sort of all the doubts come in and you go, oh, no, have I, what is it? But then luckily enough, I've got 2 hours where I can just listen back to it and just go, oh yeah, that's how that bit goes, or so it was really good, and I'm glad that I've done it. It's quite uh, it's a difficult thing to do. It's hard to do because you just got to come up with another hour continuously. But yeah, I think it's definitely for me the way forward, because now people are seeing it. They go, okay, what's next? And so when next time they see you, you want to have some new stuff. So
Yeah.
mm,
And it's I don't know about you, but I get after a certain point, as much as I don't want to write, I also don't want to say the same thing over and over again.
totally.
Like I get it's it's the battle in my brain between the laziness of not wanting to write against the boredom of saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's exactly right. And yeah, but it's. I think for me, like as well, there's a bit in this new album, this new special that I really get excited about telling it. Like I really enjoy telling it, and it's good. Like it's like, oh, I've got this bit to go, and then also as well,
Mm.
now that I've got the 2 hours, I've got two closers and I've got openers and I've got, you know what I mean? I've got some sort of choice and selection and stuff. And I've always had more, because the way that New Zealand and Australia do their headline sets, like it's different to the US. Like the US, it's like 45 an hour is what
Yeah.
you've got to be doing. And in New Zealand and Australia, it's more like half an hour and sometimes even less than that, 20, 25, half an hour.
Mm.
And so for me, I've got, four headlining sets. Maybe yeah, I could definitely do about three headlining sets in America now because of how the timings work and stuff. But yeah, it just becomes like the body of work. And then now, now that it's done, it's just on to the next one, celebrate it, but also it's all good. But it's given me permission now to actually, now that I've got the subscriptions and the viewer thing, YouTube partner has now come and said, do you want to come and monetize your videos and stuff like that? So there's actually incentive for me to now post stuff, which is good. And I think the next one I'll just do by myself, because now I can I can monetize my own video without it being flagged for copyright.
Yeah.
Also, I know there's an audience there too that are waiting for it. So it's yeah, so it's onwards and upwards. And I had lots of like managers saying, don't do it, don't do it on YouTube, sell it and all that kind of stuff. But I just was like, by the time that you get around to talking about it, and them eventually saying no to it, I was just like, I just want people to see it. And so and now people are seeing it, and it's I think the next one is the one to sort of cash in on.
Yeah. Well, I think too, like you got to look at it as somewhat of an investment in building that audience. Like you can't, like it's. I think the days of selling something to a streamer or getting a special on broadcast television or even cable television and having that help you build the audience. It's something all bought and paid for. You get paid and then you get your audience as well. I don't think that's as much a thing. There's just too much content out there now for that to happen.
So the first one I did was I sold it to UK streaming site called Up Next, and
Oh yeah.
it was like fine, but it was behind a paywall, so hardly anyone got to see it. And
Yeah.
um, I did a dry bar special, which they released a clip of, and that's gone really gangbusters. Well, gangbusters for me. It's about 60 odd thousand views and stuff, and a lot of people came across for that. And I think that's why a lot of the success has come is the dry bar clip. I think was released on the 11th or 12th of December, and the day before I posted my first hour, so people were looking for me. So it was very coincidental, and then,
They had something to then look and go, oh, there's more of this guy.
totally exactly. And then 2 weeks later, or even less than that, like 10 days later, I dropped in second special, and I think that's where I was like, whoa, this guy's like churning it out. So I think a lot of it is timing, and a lot of it, and this was my goal the whole time. Like when I did the first one, I didn't really do clips of it. I didn't really show it. I kind of wanted to use this special to promote the second special, and
Right.
so it was always the plan. But yeah, but I'm happy with how it's gone, and what's happening now. But now it's just giving me permission to, yeah, to do different stuff and just kind of keep feeding the beast of the algorithm. And
Looking forward to the unboxing videos, mate. They're
yeah,
going to be great. The new content.
well, it's funny you say that. So basically, I'm thinking because I've got to write all this new stuff, and so
Mm.
I'm sitting down writing anyway. But like for me, the like I kind of like I like getting inspired, and like especially in the first 3 or 4 months where you just sort of you watch other people's specials and go, oh, that's good, but and you appreciate what they did and how they filmed it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm already doing that anyway. So I think I'm going to do this thing called, like, it's like comedy training, where I will look at other people, other stand-ups, and just go, oh, this is what I like about them, or and just react and comment on that. But like in more of a, for me, the benefit of it is like the training aspect of it. So but it's content, and it's, yeah, again, it'll probably be flagged that I can't use it for monetization, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. How good's it's the, it's such a double-edged sword now with, like, yes, the barrier to entry. Because the barrier to entry, they say, has been lowered. I don't know if it's been lowered. It's just been changed to now you need to be constantly feeding the beast.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point dipping a toe or having one thing on there. It is okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Which, I mean, there's many ways to skin a cat. So, but in terms of building that online through YouTube, building your YouTube channel and that sort of stuff, consistency, I suppose, is one of the things now that people need, because there's just so much out there.
Yeah, totally. And that's the only thing that really is differentiating you between anyone, is the
Yeah.
fact that how often you do it, and how often, and to be honest, like, they are a business, and so their business is the most important thing. So if you are a person that is getting people to stay on that platform as long as they want, like, they're
Mm.
not worried about mental health, or how many hours you've been watching it for. If you've got a 24-hour watch time on your phone for a day, they're like, this, how good's this guy?
Yeah.
They're not worried about, they're not checking in going, are you okay, is everything okay at home? They're rewarding people who do that and sort of pump. Yeah, there's this guy at the minute. He's this 21-year-old bodybuilder. I think he's called Sam Sulik or something like that, and he's blown up just this year. And part of his success is that, he's good at what he does, and he gives tips and pointers and stuff like that. But he uploads half an hour to an hour's worth of content every day,
Whoa.
and but it's unedited, and it's just him going to the gym, or him going to grocery shopping, or him talking through bulking and cutting and stuff for bodybuilding. But the way that he does it, because it's so familiar and it's so, like, comfortable, you just end up watching it. I'm no interest in bodybuilding, but it's just these weird things that you follow. So it's an interesting world and something that I have been reluctant to kind of get into. But
Mm.
I'll, I now that I see that there's passive income that can be made, I'm all about that at the minute. So I'm kind of I'm exploring those avenues a lot now, and so yeah, with the special, it's great to have those American those ins,
Yeah.
but and now I think the next step is like, okay, now we've done that, we've used the networks, it hasn't blown up to the degree where I thought it would be, so let's just do our own thing, um, and then weirdly when it does get successful and it does go big, that's when the media outlets will come crawling and the offers come in and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's round the wrong way. I feel like, especially with comedians, especially with my style of comedy as well. Like in New Zealand, Australia, like I'm probably there's very few of us that are like doing clean comedy at the minute, and so it's kind of like, yeah, it's a weird thing, to be able to go, uh, to approach a TV network to go, here's an hour's special that you can play at 7 o'clock at night, and then them not back to you. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there it is a I don't know. Like I don't think any of the like even the broadcast networks, I think they're trying to find what's working. It's been like the whole audience is so split and so diversified now that it's hard to I don't I I think audiences like you don't need necessarily that reach that a broadcast television has to find your audience.
yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like they're not like the people that are just watching broadcast television aren't necessarily the crossover of the people that are going to buy a ticket to come see you anyway.
yes, yes,
So
yeah, totally. Yeah, totally, exactly. So it's interesting, but the whole the whole thing is like, yeah, just creating, keep going, and yeah, it's been fun, and I just think, like for me at this point in time, I remember January 2021 when I filmed the special. I was like, now I've got no jokes. I've got, how am I supposed to fill another hour? And then for me at the end of, and that was the reason why I did it on the 22nd December, because I wanted to stick with my 2 year goal of like every 2 years, releasing something. But it's worked. I think it's paid off, because I think a lot, especially in America, obviously, a lot of people in America hunker down, especially in the UK as well. They hunker
mm,
Christmas. They're not going out or visiting, or yeah, or maybe they are, but they sort of, it's a little bit more wintry vibe. So yeah, they're looking for that comedy a little bit more. So yeah, so it's good. And so to have a whole hour and then go, wow, that didn't even exist 2 years ago, is pretty cool. But yeah, now I've just got to tell myself that for the next hour.
yeah, well, I mean, luckily, I mean you're pretty prolific anyway in terms of your writing. Like you stay on it pretty hard. It's probably just the intimidation factor now of
Yeah, it's finishing the marathon and going, you've got to do another marathon, but
mm,
got like a tight calf muscle from the last one.
yeah. But the trouble is too when you're writing new stuff is you're comparing the new stuff to the stuff that took you 2 years to polish.
Yeah,
That's the like it's like you know it's like having a beautiful varnished table that's perfectly finished and then comparing it to the couple of planks of wood that you're using to build the next table. Like
yeah,
it's not a fair comparison. It's not apples to apples.
no, no,
So it's
yeah,
apples to seedlings
exactly,
realistically.
yeah, totally. But yeah, it's good, and it's just, yeah, trying to find the yeah, it's just trying to find, and I've got like some notes and stuff with some gags and some bits that I
Hey, I'm at the same point. I got notes and gags, but nothing.
nothing, yeah. Oh, it's the constant one, but yeah. So I think for me, so my process now is, is interesting. So we're talking about New Year's resolutions and all that kind of stuff. So it
Mm.
started a bit like normally I'd be like having like this is the plan, this is what I want to achieve, this is what I want to do. Um, but for me, I think it is. I always normally have a word. I have a word for the year. I don't know if you do this or
No, but I'm the worst goal setter and the worst. Like, this is one of the things I think. You look at different people in your life and you go, "This is what I can take from this person. This is what I can take." One of the things I love talking to you for is you're very structured in the way you think about where you want to get to. I'm the guy that looks and goes, "I'd love to have this," but have no thought about the steps between here and where I want to be.
right.
Whereas you're very good at being like, yeah, no, so I wanted this, so I did this, this, and this, and I'm like, oh, when you say yeah, when you lay it out logically like that, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, you do the bits in between.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm at the minute. So 2 years ago, I think I started. I've only done this twice. So 2 years ago, the word was belief. So it was like, and so everything would come back to it. So like,
Oh, this is when you found Jesus. I
yeah,
get it.
this is when playing comic. No, no, yeah, no. But, then this is the other thing with clean comedy is like everyone thinks, oh, is he super Christian or whatever? But no, I'm not.
No, and your comedy is clean in that it's like, I think too, some people infantilize clean comedy. They think it's like, but you, your comedy, like, is not out of place on a night where there's people doing dirty, there's people doing whatever. Like, it's just happens to be that you don't swear or talk about filth realistically.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's my one of my goals is to go. So when someone is ridiculously filthy before me, it's great because then I go, okay, this is a great testing station to kind of go. If this
Mm.
works now in the clubs, this is going to work, elsewhere. But yeah, that's the goal. And to be honest, the only reason I did it, I was pretty clean anyway, and I just needed it as a point of difference. And so it was just like, all right, because the goal for me isn't to go and shout from the rooftops, "Oh, he's a clean comic." It's actually to go to do the gig, do the set, and the ultimate compliment is like, "Oh, wow, that was so good." Oh, he didn't swear once, or he didn't, that it was like it's like a little Easter egg or a little bonus at the end.
That's the thing. When you like you doing clean comedy, I don't really even think when we gig together, I don't really think of you as a clean comic or as doing clean comedy. I just think of you as doing comedy. And then, oh yeah, that's like when you look back at it, oh yeah, that like it's
Yeah,
not the first thing. Oh, this is clean. It's
yeah,
like this is funny.
yeah.
And oh wow, oh yeah, when you think about it, that was all clean. Like there was no,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's yeah, exactly. And so that's been, you know, I think I made the switch maybe it's been maybe 5 years ago now, maybe 6 years ago now, actually. Yeah, but it is hard. Like there's some stuff where I'm like, oh, that would be, amazing if I could do this bit. Um,
yeah. Crowd where you get to call someone, just go, you are a fats.
yeah, maybe this next special is the one where I just absolutely unleash. But yeah, so the word was belief. The second, so that was like I just finished my special, and I was like, you've got to believe that you can do this again. You have
Mm.
like you're not going to stop doing stand up, and it's just kind of like so. Every time I sat down to write, or would like feel like giving up, or felt like I was like, okay, this is tough or whatever, it was belief that it was going to be all good, and that sort of got me through a lot of like don't really want to sit down and write. And then then last year's word, which was a bit weird, but it got me through a lot of stuff, was with the word unstoppable, which was like,
Ooh.
I don't care if media outlets are gonna say no. I'm gonna do the thing that I said I was gonna do. And so for me, that was like, going to emailing a dry bar in America and saying, "Hey, I'm kind of gonna be over there to, at the same time you're recording, put me on your bill," type thing, and just being a little bit more like, yeah, just like not, I guess not caring is not the right word, but it's just like I'm gonna achieve this thing, and no one's really gonna stop me.
Just finding a way.
yeah, exactly, finding a way and stuff. So that really helped in terms of, yeah, should I send that email? Should I say this thing to this person? Should I approach this management company? And it was just like, you know what, this year's it's unstoppable. So just go and do it. Like literally, what's the worst that can happen? They can say no, and you're going to be in the same spot again.
Mm.
So that was that. But then I haven't really picked one for this year. But I think a lot of things at the minute is I think this year will be consistency. So
I was going to go with mortgage.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's what consistency is as well. So yeah, like there's a lot of time. Like I just feel like, yeah, consistency, just being like consistent. Like if you're gonna upload stuff, be consistent with it.
Yeah,
Gonna sit down and write, be consistent with it. Like, because you can't really blossom the whole time. You can't release a well, you could release a special every year, but I just feel like some stuff would be undercooked. Like in this latest special, Live in Jeff's Garage, even when I recorded that, there's a bit in there which is like so much better now because but you got to put a line in the sand somewhere of when you're going to record it. But
yeah,
but if I had recorded it the year earlier, like Live at Jeff's Garage is basically a culmination of 2 hours put into like one sort like real gangbuster like non-stop hits hour. And so yeah, so because that took me 2 years to put those 2 hours together, I could actually pick and choose and go, all right, this is the best half hours of each of these hours. And so yeah, so this year will be definitely definitely there'll be lots of achieving things, and I'll sort of like bring back those other words occasionally. But I think consistency will have to be, so when I'm tired, when I don't want to do it, or if it's a rainy day, or if it's like, 10 o'clock at night or whatever it is, and you still haven't done the thing that you're supposed to do. I think that will be the word that I'll bring out, and I'll sort of have to live by that, and then yeah, then that helps me get through stuff because comedy is like there's no one else telling us what to do.
yeah.
So if you have like this non-negotiable thing you put at the top of the year where you go, no, no, remember when you said that? It's kind of like a mate or a boss going, come on, mate, pull your head in. This you have you done this thing?
Yeah.
Being accountable for it. So yeah, I didn't know if that was going to be the word until I spoke to you. So this is good. This is a good
Nice.
time.
Now you've spoken it to the internet, and the internet is nothing if not law.
Absolutely.
So
Yes. Yeah.
you've spoken it in. Mate. The internet will keep you accountable.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah.
So if you're watching this, follow Nick Rado on everything, but just slide into his messages in Instagram, Nick Rado comedian, and just send him a one word thing: consistency.
Yeah.
Were you consistent today?
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, it really works. Like it's just those, and sometimes it's for me that unstoppable word was a bit. Maybe I was like because I got to open for Nate Bargatze.
Oh wow, how was that?
Yeah, amazing. Like he's in terms of just he's a bit of a hit. Like very rarely these days do we watch a comedian and really laugh and without going, "Oh, I see what they did there," or trying to analyze it. And so him and Brian Regan for me are kind of like the goats of the clean comedy sphere. But they're also just like they have the respect and the buy-in from all the other comics as well, and so that's like the perfect thing. They're not just clean because they're selling out or whatever. They're clean because they're just real funny comics who just happen to be clean. And so
Mm.
get to open for him was just the and to really do well, like to go so well as well, and it went really well, and so much so that his management said, and he said, whenever you're in the States, come over and we'll hook up some gigs and stuff. And so so I kind of went, this is unstoppable. This is it. Let's do it. But then I probably, yeah, maybe was a little bit too like keen on the old email, just going, hey, I'm going to be over there on this date. What can you do for me? And yeah, and they were so kind. They just said, "Listen, when you get here, just let us know, and then we'll help you. But we can't really be sort of saying, February, March, April. There's no dates here.
Yeah, yeah.
I've actually got a calendar note in my I think for next month to re-email them and to catch up with them again.
See,
So
this is where you're so much better than me at this sort of stuff. I think you're one of about 8 people who I've met and said, "Oh, well, drop us an like." When you said to me when we first met, and you said, "Oh, if you're ever in New Zealand,"
yes.
I think you were the first person and still one of like 4 people I've ever said, "I'm going to be in your city. Can you help me get
Oh right.
gigs?" Like I'm so hopeless at that. Like that was an anomaly for me, which I need more of that. Like hey, take just just do it a bit of like.
Well, the thing, yeah, the thing with it is as well is that people do want to help, and honestly, as
Mm,
if you're not good, then people are less reluctant, and but there are ways, like for example, someone approached me the other day and said because they knew that I released some stuff over in America, and I'd done some gigs over there, and they said, "Do you know?" And this comic they're okay, they're fine, but they're not. I wouldn't be like putting my reputation on their performance. Who knows? They could
mm.
they could absolutely smash it out the gate, but from what I've seen, the consistency of the of them probably isn't that's not going to be the case. So
And a big hello to Taran Mahumbai if you're watching.
yeah, no, Taryn's fantastic. I would.
Yeah, I only said that name because I knew it wasn't him.
He's a strong enough comic to say that that's a great gag. But this other comic was like, do you know anyone? I was like, yeah, I do know some people, but I sort of went, like, and gave them some open mic stuff and some,
Mm.
just what at their level. So still helping them out, but also, and because the last thing that they want to do as well is do a gig where they feel like, this, it's way past their
Yeah, you don't want to be out of your depth.
totally, exactly. But you were so kind with me when I came to Sydney and to like Australian gigs and stuff. So I feel like yeah, you absolutely should email people. And
Mate,
the fact you're really great as well. It's a no brainer. So
I actually got your name came up and another Kiwi comedian, and I'll tell you offline
mm,
um, who that was. But I had a booker just say to me before Christmas, he goes, you are undefeated for good recommendations. And he named you and this other comedian. He goes, both just well, he named the other comedian because they'd been there more recently. Oh, absolutely smashed it, so good, such easy to work with. And then and he goes, and Nick Rado, he's my favorite. He's my favorite. They were just raving about you. And so yeah, I'll tell you who the booker was and everything
yeah,
off recording. But yeah, let's just say, well, whenever that person's got a job, you've got work. So
yeah, great,
but they're like, man, whenever you need anything, like they're seeing it as I did them a favor. So I'm like, you beauty.
totally, yeah, yeah, oh, absolutely. I think I know. I think I could guess who it was, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, I am no good at that too, and I just sort of have to be.
Mm.
You just have to, and for part of me as well, the reason why I don't like upload stuff is because I just think that it's not as good as the as other people's stuff.
Yeah.
But then but mate, we're getting to the point now where it's like I see people who I started with in the UK. Some of them are selling out O2 Arena, and some of them are not doing that at all. They're in the clubs, and if I barely know how they're surviving, how they're going. And then there's some other people that are sort of in the middle range and making a living and doing great, but whatever. But when I see that post their clips, I'm like, oh, they're proper stand-ups, but they started the same as me, and I feel like we are proper stand-ups. But it's a funny thing that it takes years. So for someone to come in and say after 1 or 2 years, what do you do for a job? And they go, I'm a comedian, and like, how long have you been doing it for? 1 or 2 years. I'm like, I just never had the gut. I would say
Yeah.
I do the profession, and I also do a bit of comedy on the side, but it's only in the last few years where I go, yeah, stand-up comedian. This is what I do for a job, and yeah. So
Getting past that imposter syndrome
yeah,
is
yeah,
incredibly difficult. I don't know about it, but and it's nice sometimes you hear big comedians that have it too, but obviously have been able to get past it to a degree in terms of keep the humility of there, but realize that okay, this is part of the job. Is you have to just act as if to a degree. You
yes,
just got to.
totally.
If you're not going to take yourself seriously, who's going to take you seriously?
Yeah, but I'm more than comfortable in a position now, and we've talked about this before, where if things were to, or when things do explode and blow up, then I've got more than enough experience and body of work to then deliver on that promise.
Yeah,
When people go, all right, we bought your ticket. What have you got? And so, whereas other people who have gone out a little bit earlier, potentially, and maybe a little bit less experience, have amazing at the marketing element, or they blow up this 1, 5, 10, 15 minute great set. Yeah, when they sell out that 2,000, 3,000 seat theater, and then people turn up and go, all right, and then it's like, okay,
yeah, yeah. It was fine.
yeah, maybe we did see just the best of them and stuff. So yeah, so it's mate, it's just never ending. It's never. Mm.
Oh, mate, we're almost at time. Before we go,
Yes.
plug the channel so people can go subscribe so you can make some money,
Yeah.
or Comedy Dynamics can make some money,
Yeah.
and let them know where they can find you on social because you're consistent this year. You're going to be consistently posting everywhere.
Totally, mate. So as of next week, it's
I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to be consistent this year, but I just need this break now.
yeah. I just need this break now. I just need the time to bloody edit up all the stuff. I've realised I've got so much
Oh,
stuff, which is great, but then it's like just that it's just because you got to do it in real time. So it's anyway, but it's Nick Rado,
yeah.
and so NICKRADO, like the watch Rado comedian, and it's on YouTube. Go watch the special, comment on it, like it, do whatever you got to do, share it around.
Start a fight in the comment section because that promotes it in the algorithm.
Totally, yeah, exactly. That's it, honestly. And then yeah, Nick Rado comedian on YouTube, and to stay consistent, Nick Rado comedian on Instagram, and but not consistent on Twitter as Nick Rado. So I got in it super early on that. So
Yeah, same. My Twitter's the only one that's different,
yeah,
and it's just because you can't change your name once you got it.
yeah, exactly,
The
exactly.
others will let you.
Yeah, but
But
over at Jeff's garage or garage, as I got forced to stay in the special, you'll see me trip up on a few American the notes from America.
there was one that I noticed really, really strongly early. It was like maybe in the first 10 minutes, and I was like, oh yeah, he's had to Americanize some of this stuff.
Yeah, uh, garage gallons instead of liters.
Yeah.
Pounds instead of grams for like. Then I'm lucky I don't have any aluminium jokes.
Or caramel.
Yeah. Oh yes. Or herbs.
Oh yeah. I wrapped my caramel in aluminum and got the herbs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was good, but there was a few little what else was the other one? Oh, 3/4 inch drive I had to say instead of like a wrench or a screwdriver or whatever it was. So
That's so funny.
yeah. So
Like, don't get me wrong, I love that the states will take an interest, but it blows my mind that it's the only country that can't just the audience won't do the internal maths
no.
of
Well,
what does that mean.
the biggest complaint I had from the UK was that I would reference dollars instead of pounds. So you can't win in it. You can't win at any cost.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't say New Zealand dollars, I'm I'm on board, Nick. I'll just assume you're talking AUD.
Absolutely, exactly. So yeah, no, so yeah, jump on board. Yeah, and I will see you on the other side of consistency, whatever that looks like.
Excellent, Nick Rado. Thanks so much for doing this.
Too easy, mate. Thanks, Barney.